to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hello, everybody. And I hope you had a really awesome, beautiful, amazing Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. Not really a big deal in my world. I think I really just like the time that we get to relax and we get to have this, just this like time that we get to have for ourselves. I mean, in Australia, it's summer, so it's super hot. I am pre-recording this, so I would have been at Noosa. I have a house on the river, and my friend Christopher Hughes and myself rented the house and, over Christmas so that we could just go for like nice long walks in the national park and swim in the pool and paddleboard in the river and things like that, because yes, it's hot. So if you're listening to this and you are somewhere overseas and it's cold and snowy, I'm going to say, what if you could embrace where you live? And if you embrace where you live, it's about enjoying everything that you have around you. You could be like me, in a house on the river in Noosa, or have access to the beach, animals, it's like plants, the hot summer sun on your skin. Or you could be in the middle of Russia and it could be super cold and you have a lot of snow and you have fireplaces. Or you could be in the middle of a city and it could be what they call as a concrete jungle. But what if you judged nothing and you were this acoustical wavelength, like in your body, in your being, and this acoustical wavelength that embraced everything and really embraced where you live? Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. Or enjoy where you are. You might not actually be where you're choosing to live. You might be, off on holiday somewhere. You could be at El Lugar, at our amazing property, which is open, by the way, in Costa Rica. You could be there. So you've got New Year coming up in a few days. That's always a really interesting energy, I think. So many people are like, this has got to be such a big night, like, best night of the year. I mean, I've done, New Year's in London and Sydney and different places all around the world. And I did that partying. I did that so many people. It's, hey, if that's for you, go for it. Have way too much fun. That's what I ask, is have way too much fun on your new year. Nowadays, I tend to, go to sleep early. Maybe I'll have a glass of champagne or something, but I'll be in bed by, before midnight. And for me, what I enjoy is waking up, starting the new year and just feeling good. Like feel good in my body. Maybe go for a swim in the ocean, maybe go for a hike, or maybe just wake up and stretch my body and have a really good coffee. I love good coffee. And enjoy my choices, but enjoy what I'm choosing. And it's something that I really want to look at in 2024. And I've been, nicknaming it for me, 2024, the year for more and the year of relaxation. It has been something that has been up on my world for a little bit. And, if you know me and you've, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, he's been telling me for over 20 years about different things. Relax, relax, relax. And it's been a constant discovery for me of what relaxation is. And it was a little while ago now that I ended up in hospital. I've spoken about it. It's like, hurt my back. It's like I couldn't walk. But the interesting thing was I got a CT scan and I found out more information about what was going on in my spine, which therefore I found out more information about my body and how your body works. Like, bodies are freaking amazing. I'm in the middle of this 3-month membership with bodies, and it's just wonderful. Like, they're so intricate and we judge them, and they're just, it's so amazing. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about, leading into 2024 and having that year of relaxation. If you choose, that could be for you. So there's a few things here. For me, it's like the year of relaxation, embracing where you live. And when I say embracing where you live, where are you waking up today? Like I said, that could be in your home, your place of residence, or maybe you've decided to travel somewhere, but that's where you're living. So what if you embraced where you live? And look around, open up your eyes or your sensory cortex. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? What's around you that you have not yet discovered? I have lived in this house in Bridging Beach for, oh gosh, over 10 years, 12 years maybe. And when I recently, hurt my back and I couldn't do the movement with my body that I usually did. So I just started walking. I was walking because I could hear my body saying, let's just walk, move, my pelvis, my hips, my hip flexors, and move my body in a different way. Now, I'd also usually walk and, maybe go somewhere steep. And I was like, no, let's walk on flat ground. And I discovered all these pathways in this place called Emu National Park. That's 10 minutes walk from me. And I discovered that. But I hadn't noticed it before. So what I'm asking you is, what is in your surroundings? If you embrace where you live, what is in your surroundings that you have not yet noticed? What is it that you've seen and you've gone, love to check that out. One day I'm going to go. What if it's not one day I'll go? What if today's the day you choose it? I don't know, maybe there's a Pilates studio. Maybe you've been, meaning to Google, how to do some, movement in your body that alleviates the stress in your neck and your shoulders. What if today was the day you chose it? This is your body. This is your life. It's like, what if you embraced where you lived and you totally enjoyed it? So embracing where you live, for me, I live in Bridging Beach. I have the beach across the road. So I can go walking on the beach. I can have the sand in my feet. I can lie on the sand. I can go for a swim in the ocean. I can go paddleboarding. It's like I've got Pilates. It's like I've got my local gym. I've got national park. I love being out in nature. I've also got my backyard is got native trees in it. It's really beautiful. I love it. But I look at those trees and the birds and I hear them every morning. And I see them from the perspective of my veranda. So what I started doing too was taking a big blanket down and putting it on the grass and then looking up. And you see the trees from that perspective of looking up. And I got to say, it's like the trees so have my back. And you see the birds from a different perspective. So what if you started looking at your life from a different perspective? Now, I did mention right at the beginning of this podcast about the acoustical wavelength. So I want to talk about that because so many of us create our life to be linear. Okay. So you have this linear perspective. So we could use anything. We could use anything as an example here. But if you say used your body and you said, okay, I'd like my body to look like this, change the shape, the size, blah, 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 all of this. So you start to go to the linear perspective of what that is. Oh, I've got to go to the gym X amount of times. I've got to work out. I've got to do that. I've got to eat this, not eat this, and it's all chosen from conflict. It's not chosen from being in question. And it's chosen from what I would say is like this electrical system and a digitized wavelength rather than the acoustical vibration that you can be. There is a movie out. It's quite old. It's called August Rush. I highly recommend watching that. He hears everything from this like acoustical vibration. Well, you do too as an infinite being. Okay. So it's called August Rush. We'll have it in the show notes so you can look it up. It's like, what if you walked around the world and you were this acoustical vibration and you had an acoustical reality, which means that life is not linear. It's not binary encoding. It's not zeros and ones. It's not black and white. It's not good and bad. It's not right and wrong. It's a whole lot more than that. And I am asking myself and my body to have more of this acoustical wavelength and vibration in my life now. Not even waiting for 2024. It's now. Okay. So you can ask this too. Now, let me give you another example. It's like, let's use money. Okay. So you would like to ask for more money. So you have this linear perspective of how the money can show up, rather than knowing money can show up. Now, so much of this is about being in question as well. Okay. So you've got to be in question of what else is possible. What else is possible? And in question of, okay, so where do I go now? Who can I receive from? Where can I receive from? What do I perceive? What do I know? Because we tend to do this like digital vibration that shuts us down and makes us this binary encoding on off, rather than whoosh, expand yourself out there. Like, you have your body, your amazing, beautiful body. If you can, put your hands on it somewhere. And then reach out, you the being, 100,000 kilometers outside of your body. What are you aware of? Again, what do you smell? What can you hear from that space? What energy is available to you? What energies are available that you haven't been choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, privates, and beyonds. If you chose to be in total communion with your body, total communion with money, they're just two things. You could say family, you could say your relationship, you could say your business, like all of it. But they're two things that I'm using today as an example so that you can start to look at this. Because you, the being, are an acoustical wavelength. But when you start to buy into the lies, you start to buy into the judgments, you start to buy into the projections, the expectations, you become an electrical wavelength, which is what everything in this reality is designed to get you to do. Okay? And so much of that is based on right and wrong. When you wake up in the morning, are you right or are you wrong? Guess what? You're neither. You're an acoustical reality. You are an acoustical vibration. So what happens is when you have this place where you become this electrical wavelength with money, this digitized wavelength with money, etc., it's like then you become magnetically attracted to everything that limits you. Notice how like there's people who go, I mean, I'm not saying that life is always, great and everything you wake up and it's all rosy. Sometimes there's some real shit that hits the fan and it's like, how are you going to deal with that? So then when something pops up and you're like, okay, like I had some really interesting stuff show up in 2023. Like okay, how am I going to handle this? Okay. So but the thing is, you have something that might be limiting you for a short period of time. How do you deal with it? Does it become your story? Does this become your story that you tell everyone? Oh my God, Dios mío, this is happening, da da da. My relationship broke up. I lost my job. Interest rates went up. I've put on too much weight. I've got a pain in my body, da da da. Whatever that story is, that becomes you and that becomes your limitation. And it's like this, you magnetically start attracting everything that is limiting you rather than going, you know what? Yeah, I do have some pain in my body. Like for me, I ended up in hospital. Okay, what am I going to do to choose something to change this? And not change it like there's something wrong and it needs to be fixed, because nothing needs to be fixed. You have choice. But I'm an infinite being with an acoustical vibration. So, okay, what information do I have here? And I have changed so much recently. And I'm going to say proud of myself and happy with my choices. And like I said, I am asking to really embrace that relaxation now, 2024 and beyond, because I so get that when you're being that space and that relaxation, so much more is available. So how many of you are choosing the linear perspective, the electrical vibration, the digitized vibration that keeps you magnetically attracted to everything that limits you? Everything that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyonds. That, ladies and gentlemen, if you've just met me, is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. We'll have a note below in the show notes that you can find out more about. That you can go to theclearingstatement.com. So then how this works, if you have this and it's all you're doing is attracting this limitation, it's like you create every limitation in your life by either aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting to something. like, you know how you say positive and negative judgment. So if you're like, oh my God, this is amazing, this is awesome, da, 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 you know, and it's like, well, you are creating a limitation because you've just decided this is the best. Like if you say this is the best meal I've ever eaten, oh, that was the best sex I ever had, I've got the best boyfriend. Well, you're not allowing anything else to show up. And in an acoustical wavelength, there is changes every nanosecond. And you'll also know when something is required to change. You don't force anything, and it's not about choosing from conflict. An acoustical wavelength has the, like if you're acoustical wavelength in your being, in your body, you have the ability to choose anything at any time and not judge when you're choosing to change it. So again, it's like everything where you're limiting yourself is where you're aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting. And because either one, they have a point of view. So both of them have a point of view, and you take it as this like positive and negative judgment. So all the positive and negative judgments you have about you, your body, your money, we can add your relationships, your family, your business, your life in there where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, COVIDs and beyonds. That's what locks you up. Oh yeah, if you have a pain in your body right now, what's locking you up? What point of view do you have that's locking you up? Like seriously, if you have a pain in the neck, ask, okay, who or what is the pain in the neck? And destroy and uncreate everything that is, times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, COVIDs and beyonds. When you function from an acoustical wavelength, there's no judgment. There's just choice. You don't have this positive or this negative. You don't have the judgment. You don't have the limitation. You're not looking for a result. You're not concluding what's going on. You have this space, the space of a possibility. You have the greatness of you. You have, you know, when they say the world is your oyster, you literally have the world is your oyster. So from that greatness of you, when you're being that greatness of you, you change the world. You change the world. But how many of you, that is not valuable enough for you? You've decided you waking up in the morning and being this amazing, beautiful being this acoustical wavelength is not valuable enough to you. You've got to stick to your story. You've got to stick to your story and your limitations and figure out if they're better than others. What if you stopped complaining like everybody else? What if you gave up your story? So all the stories that you've told yourself lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, everywhere that you've decided that every single lifetime you're going to be stuck with something, you're going to have something that limits you, will you please destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, COVIDs and beyonds. And everywhere that you are looking for someone to either align and agree with your story or resist and react with your story, so you can create a reality that is solid and real based on this. So someone aligns and agrees with your story, you're like, see, it's true, okay? And they resist and react, you have this conflict. What if you never chose conflict again, ever? You never, ever chose conflict again. Actually, I have a process that came up in a class that I did the other day. I'm going to run this. So what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, God, can you hear those birds? They are, even though they're Australian birds, they are an acoustical wavelength, right? Nature is an acoustical wavelength. It just flows, it contributes, it has this vibration that is so palpable and so potent. What if that was you too, like the birds? So what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, possibilities, power, and potency can you and your body be to induce all acoustical wavelengths and no digital wavelengths in your body for all eternity? And everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, COVIDs and beyonds. Okay, one more time. And you can write this down. We will have this in the show notes. So if you're like, what the hell is she talking about? But this feels really good. And it's like, go to the show notes and we will have this there. Okay. And and run it over and over again. Put it on a loop. So what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, possibilities, power, and potency. I mean, just look at those vibrations of all of those words that we're using. Can you and your body be to induce all acoustical wavelengths and no digital wavelengths in your body for all eternity? And everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, POVIDs and beyonds. What if, being this acoustical wavelength of possibilities, you could no longer have conflict with your body? You could no longer have conflict with money. You could no longer have conflict with others, with any of the relationships you have. You would no longer have conflict with your choices. Everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, POVIDs and beyonds. Oh, God, that just feels so good. And here's what I've noticed is, as I've been playing with this energy of the acoustical wavelength, is that you eliminate the judgment, you eliminate time, you eliminate the conflict. And then I get this enthusiasm that is this energy of just like, it's like this, excitement. Oh, I want to create this, or go here, or do this, or this whole energy. And I was talking to Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, and I said, okay, I noticed this energy. And from this energy, it's almost like there's multiple roads, but for sake of my story, I'm going to say there's two. One is now I go like headstrong and force this into action, because I'm like, and I've changed a lot of the world, and I've changed a lot of people's lives, including mine, by going headstrong and being like, okay, this is quick. Let's get this going. Let's get this going. Let's get this moving. Blah 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 blah. Okay. And I'm noticing that doesn't have the same desire in my world anymore. And I was like, and then there's this other road, as I would say, that has a lot more relaxation, but I would have judged that as being slow before. And I'm noticing that it's not slow, and it's stimulating a possibility for me that I get is true excitement. And from that true excitement is this acoustical vibration that it's like all your sensory cortex opens up. Your awareness opens up. Your spherical awareness opens up. What does that mean? That's everything. That's not just what's in front of you. That's just not what's here right now. That's what am I choosing today that creates a different future? What am I choosing today that creates a greater future? What am I choosing today that allows me to be in a state of relaxation with every single choice I make? And everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, POVIDs and beyonds. So you have this spherical awareness. It's like you have the awareness of past, present, and future all around you. And with no judgment, letting go of your story, of that electrical wavelength, that you're always trying to find something that is, positive or negative, the resistance and reaction, the alignment and agreement so that you have a reality, you have a solid reality. What if that just, boom, went away? You no longer have that. Now you have choice. Now you have infinite choice. Now you have infinite possibilities available. Take a breath. Relax. You've got this. And ask yourself, what would an acoustical reality look like? What would an acoustical being choose? Notice how even like this, 20, 25-minute podcast, by the end of listening to it, there's more of a calmness in your world. The processes that I've ran, the questions that I've asked, the opening up of that door for a different reality, the opening up of that door for the acoustical vibration and reality that you truly be and have. Limitations are not real. Judgments are not real. Projections and expectations are not real. One of my fun tools to use is to say, if there was no people on the planet, would you have a problem? That's a no, Bob. You wouldn't. So what would an acoustical being choose? If you are desirous to be the acoustical wavelength and being and vibration that you truly are, what are you going to choose? What's next? What is next for you? What if you could embrace where you live, embrace your life, embrace your living, enjoy your choices? Because this is it, guys. Let's have like way too much fun. Can we do that? Can we have like way too much fun? Okay, so guys, Happy New Year, wherever you are in the world. It's in a few days. Thank you so much for all of your feedback. I get random messages all over the place, and I'm not that great at responding to some on some platforms. If you slide into our DMs on the Choice, Change and Action Instagram, we have our own page. I also have my Instagram page as well. So, make sure you follow us on both of them. And if there's anything that you would like me to explore and look at next year, I will have a look at it, and we can see where we go from there. But thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your gratitude. I am truly grateful for every single one of you who listen to the podcast. And I love it when you give me the feedback and you give me the thumbs up and tell me to keep going. I will keep going. I will keep going. Will you keep going, please? No more judgment. Drop the limitation. Drop the stories. Let's be that acoustical wavelength, that acoustical vibration that we truly be, and explore what else is possible here on planet Earth. Because the world really is your oyster, as they say. Anything and everything is possible. So thank you so much for joining me here, and I look forward to being with you in 2024. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMilasas.com and follow me on Instagram at Simone Milasas, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes, and lastly, have way too much fun today.